Hi everyone, this is Kirei for Bramble Fox, and this is my first layout using the lovely March Fox box. It's got such pretty spring colours, and after our winter it's really something to get us excited about. Okay, so I'm using a couple of the word perspectives, the Loving Life, and from the Fox box, and then I'm using some of the paper snips, number 19, the flowers, and number 20, which has sort of got months and dates on them. And then I'm also using Fox Cut number 56, and it's a honeycomb with some very cute bees on it. Okay, so I've pulled out some pattern papers here, and this is the BoBunny Beautiful Things collection, which honestly has been in my stash for quite some time. It's an older collection. It's only from last year, but I actually hadn't used it at all. So I decided I was going to pull it out and I was going to use it and make it work. And actually, it was perfect. So I've got a couple of photos of me and my husband when we were out and about last November. And Lee's always pretty good about me taking photos, but he just decided to be a bit silly. So I thought it was a good photo. Anyway, it was perfect to scrap with the title of Loving Life. So I have cut three different size sort of rectangle shapes, and I'm going to use those as a background for my photos. I'm just working on distressing the edges here, of course, on each of them, and then I can get those layered up onto my background, my white cardstock background. Now, apologies for the lighting here. I'm actually away while I was doing this, and I don't have my two sort of slightly stronger lights. I only have one, so it is slightly darker on one side. So apologies for that. Okay, here's the Fox Cut, the stencil, and I'm just sort of working out where it's going to go. I've pulled out Distress Oxide in the yellowy, it's a yellow, it's scattered straw, and I'm just applying that, just sort of, it will be below the photo and above the photo as well. So I'm just working out that I've got enough there, because typically you add a bit of stenciling and then you end up covering it all up. So I'm just making sure I've got enough there. I didn't want loads. It was just really just a little bit of detail that I just wanted to pop out from the bottom and the top of the paper layers. So they were just adding some to the top. Sorry about that, because the glare's on the top there. You can hardly see it too much, but so I'm just added a little bit of water, and I'm obviously adding a few splatters here to the top and bottom in the same Distress Oxide colour, scattered straw. And then I'm going to I'm going to have to just let that dry. So, and then I can move on and I can get those layers stuck down. Okay, here we go. Oh, there's some, you can see the close-up detail. So I really love that new central. It's quite subtle. There's the honeycomb piece, so it's really nice just to add a little bit of detail to a background. If you just want something to take it from being just like, I have obviously a lot of white cardstock there, so it just added a little bit more for me. Okay, so I've got the green layer stuck down flat to the white cardstock, and then I'm going to add foam tape to the back of the second layer here and get this stuck down. I ended up going with quite a few layers actually, with the photos and the papers, and I really like how it looked. I'm definitely not a flat scrapbooker, and I know some people are, because they don't want too much thickness in their albums, but I'm definitely not one of those. I do like to add a lot of layers, and I certainly did go for it here, because I did layer up the photos and all of that as well with more foam tape. Okay, just sort of lifting up the edges again to get that sort of texture, and just lifting it from the background. And then I can start to build up the photos and embellishment clusters. So I've got my two photos here. And then I'm just pulling out the the Loving Life perspectives. I'm really fiddling around about where they're going to sit. Are they going to go to the side, below, etc.? So there's a lot moving around. Then I decide, okay, I'll start doing something else. So I've pulled out some of the ephemera to coordinate with the pattern papers, and I'm just sort of having a play around and deciding what's going to sort of go where. I've got that little sort of tag banner that says beauty is everywhere. And then just looking at, and I actually I'm looking at whether to layer the photos up on the ephemera, and I've got the one on the left there on, it's like a piece of like a note card ephemera. And then at the top, I've got that tabbed piece, and it's a sort of, I guess, a sort of peachy colour, but it's got a foiled detail to it, which was really nice. Now I've pulled out the paper snips. These are the lovely flowers, and these are perfect for fussy cutting, obviously, and just adding some extra detail. So I'm fussy cutting all of the yellow flowers from the paper snip sheet, and I'm not going to make you watch me because it takes obviously a little while to get them all done. But I'll do that, and I will also fussy cut some of the leaves as well. There we go. Got those done. And then I'm going to start to get my photos stuck down. There we go on that little note card ephemera. And then I'm just going to, I do fiddle around here a little bit. So I cut this bit out because I just push and pull the photos around, deciding exactly how they're going to sit. So there's the little tabbed piece, and I'm just going to get that raised up on some foam tape as well, because it's going to sit just over the other raised layers. There we go. I finally got those photos stuck down, and I did add more foam tape to those as well. So there is quite a lot of dimension to this layout. And now I'm starting to build up the clusters using the ephemera and some of the really lovely, those paper snip yellow flowers and the little leaves as well. So I'm getting all of that stuck in. So building up a little cluster to the top of the photos there. And then to the right, and then I will add another cluster over to the left, and I'll start with this round scalloped circle. And again, adding some foam tape to that one as well. So I'm going to work on the clusters, but as a reminder, if you're not a Foxbox subscriber, pop on over to the bramblefox.co.uk website, and you'll find all the details about subscribing to the monthly Foxbox, so you don't miss out on some of the fabulous new designs that come out. And it also gives you as being a subscriber, you get a 15% discount in the shop, which is brilliant. And there is the Foxbox Plus, so you get even more. And with that, you get a stencil, so one of the Fox cuts, a sheet of paper snips, and the DIY epoxy flare stickers. So on the paper snips sheet, you'll get a number of like 1-inch circles. You can punch them out or cut them out and lay them up with one of the little clear epoxy stickers, and that you create your own little sort of flare. So here we go. I'm still building up my cluster here, and I've just cut out that leaf. I've broken it down actually, and it's also foiled, metallic foil on it. So I'm adding the leaf to each of the clusters, or I will do in just a moment. I think I'm fiddling around here with where the individual fussy cut leaves are going to go. And honestly, this takes me a while here. I honestly can't make up my mind. I think I've got it, but yeah, there we go. Finally get those stuck down. And then just working on finishing off building up. There we go. There's the little foiled leaves going in to that cluster there. And I'm going to add one in onto the far right, as you can see. Okay, what's next? Title, finally. Okay, so this, I really love the Loving Life, and I love the difference in the fonts because I really like mixing fonts up. So adding the Loving to the top of the photo, and then the Life is layered up just slightly underneath it onto the white cardstock background. I've stuck those down with glossy accents just to make sure that they stick nice and firmly. Now, this is one of the circle paper snips, and this is from the paper snips number 20. It's the one which got lots of like the months, and it's got 2023, so the year on it. You could add them into a planner, or if you were I'm adding it here because I'm using November because that relates to the time of year it was. And I'm just popping that into that top cluster there. I'd actually run out of my little epoxy flare stickers, so I've stuck it down just as just on its own. But I would have added the epoxy flare if I'd had one. Okay, so here I felt like I needed to just add something to the bottom and the top just to sort of pull the layout together, just add a little bit more detail. So I started to go to tear this, but to be honest, I'm using a heavier weight cardstock, and so I've just cut it, and then I'm distressing the edges, and then I'm just going to rip into it slightly just to sort of lift it up. And I'll do the same at the bottom and the top, and then add a piece of the pattern, one of the pattern papers behind it. And I'm just here deciding whether to go with that sort of yellowy ochre colour or the green, but I do stick with that yellowy one. And I'll just get that layered up behind, and then I can add just a little bit of detail into each of those torn areas. Don't know why I actually cut those bits off, to be completely honest, because I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to use those little bits, but anyway, I do. Getting that top one stuck on, and I'm sort of nearly there actually. It came together. I was really pleased with it actually. It came together well. And yeah, I'm just going to pop in. I'm going to add a couple of leaves into that bottom and the top, and then I've got a couple of little word stickers, and then I will start to bring in some of the pretty. They're like a glitter enamel dot that goes with the collection. There we go. And I'm just going to get those stuck down, and I'm going to add a few little puffy stickers, little chevron arrows. But I'll do that off camera. I'm pretty much done. Oh, and I do add some extra splatters in gold, and here's the final layer. You'll see those extra splatters there, and some close-ups. There's the beautiful Loving Life perspectives from the March Fox box, the paper snip flowers that you can see tucked into the clusters there, and there's some detail with that lovely honeycomb stencil number 56. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed my process video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.